Hello and welcome to this Python tutorials. So in the following tutorials, we're going to solve our business problem, but this time it's going to be with hierarchical clustering, which you will see is exactly the same as k-means clustering. Okay, so let's start by setting our working directory. So we click on this folder here to choose the working directory. Then we go to Machine Learning AZ, Part 3 Clustering, Hierarchical Clustering, and we click on Choose. Okay, and then we don't forget to click on this little button here to set the chosen folder as working directory. And then we can go to File Explorer to make sure that we are in the right folder and that our dataset is well imported. So let's select the code here to import the libraries and execute. And now let's start with the first step, which is to import the mall dataset with pandas. So as usual, we are going to introduce a new code section here with the comment importing the mall dataset with pandas. And then let's immediately import the mall dataset. So we create this new variable here, dataset, and then we write equals pd dot read underscore CSV, and then in parentheses we put the name of our dataset mall.csv in quotes. Okay, now let's select and execute this line of code. Done. And now let's go to Variable Explorer to find our dataset. Okay, so here it is. Let's double click on it. And then let's give a quick reminder of what this dataset is about. So there is this big mall in a small city where most people go to, and people can buy anything in this mall, whether it is food, clothes, smartphones, computers, beds, whatever they need. And the mall gathered some information of 200 of their customers, which are customers that not only subscribe to the membership card, but customers who are also coming very often to the mall, so that it's, insightful information of their customers. Then the mall assigned a customer ID to each of these customers, and then from the membership form that customers filled in when they subscribed to the membership card, the mall took their gender, their age, and their annual income. And then based on several criteria, like the income, the number of times the customer shows up in the mall, and of course the amount of money they spend in the mall computed a spending score for each of their customer. This spending score takes values between 1 and 100, and what it simply means is that the closer the spending score is to 1, the less the customer spends, and the closer the spending score is to 100, the more the customer spends. So why did the mall do that? It's because the mall would like to segment their customers into different groups, but the problem is that the mall has actually no idea of what these groups might be. It doesn't even have any idea of how many groups they're looking for. And that's specifically what makes this business problem a clustering problem. Because we don't know what the answers are. We don't know the final categories ahead of time. So that's our mission, to find some unknown clusters of customers. We solved this problem with k-means, and now let's do this with hierarchical clustering. Okay, so we are good with the dataset, it's well imported. And now what we have to do left is to select our columns of interest, which are of course the columns annual income and the spending score. So we are going to put these two columns on a variable x. So we write here x equals dataset.iloc, and then in square brackets colon to take all the lines of our dataset, then comma, and then now we're going to pick the two columns that we're interested in. So let's see what the indexes are. Let's go back to our dataset. We know that indexes in Python start at 0, so let's count 0, 1, 2, and then annual income has index 3 and spending score has index 4. So let's go back to our code, and now let's write 3, 4 in square brackets, and that selects our columns annual income and spending score. And then we just add at the end dot values. Okay, so let's select this line and execute. Perfect. Our array x just appeared in Variable Explorer. So let's double click on it to make sure everything is fine. Perfect, we have our two columns, annual income and spending score, and we have our 200 of observations. Great, so that's the end of step 1. We imported our data set and prepared the data correctly. So that's it for this tutorial, and in the next tutorial we're going to move on to the next step, which is to use the dendrogram to find the optimal number of clusters. So I look forward to seeing you there, and until then,